Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chad Smith Podcast. My name is Chad Smith, and today is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host from California. Please welcome back Spooky Morales.
Chad, good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning, man. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing awesome. Very awesome.
Good. I like your new blue microphone pop filter you got there.
If you didn't know, my favorite color is blue. That's right.
Matches the Beastie Boys logo pretty perfect.
Thank you.
Everybody, Sonny is out today. He's going to be sick in bed, listening to the show, comfortable from his mattress and sheets and pillows today. But
get well soon, Sonny. We love you, brother.
Sending him, well wishes, and hopefully he gets better real soon.
Everybody will.
Stay away from that COVID crap.
And I tell you, I wouldn't want to be a virus or some kind of illness and have to go toe to toe with Sonny, man.
I wouldn't either, but man, the virus unfortunately is winning right now.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
That's the thing, is if it takes Sonny down, then it's got to be something. Real quick rundown from the chat here. We got Mr. Andy Gambino joining us. How's it going, sir? Dogface Boy, how's it going, Simon? Good to see you. William Carnundrum, how's it going? Hello from Ontario, Canada, Good to see you. We got Jake Smith working hard over there in the Bolt Factory. Good to see you, sir. Arden Paranormal, good to see you, Sam. How's it going? Let's see. Add this to the stream. We got Second Star Survival. How's it going, Matt? He says, well, hello, my delicious all-you-can-eat Menudo Factory. What in the world? What kind of fans do we have around here? Looks like, we got Enzo. How's it going? He says, hello, everyone. Hi, Chad Smith Podcast panel.
The amazing Enzo.
Got Unidentified S4. How's it going, Anthony? Good to see you. Unidentified.
Can't hear even the name without thinking of the song now.
Hey, Irene. Good to see you from Japan. Thank you for joining us. And we got Jeanette Sanchez. How's it going?
My sis.
Good to see you. We heard that there's some activity going on in the skies over there. We're going to have to talk about that.
Ooh, I try to tell people.
We're going to have to talk about it. Got Akashi Chris, our newest member to the Chad Smith Podcast.
Now that's my sister.
Thank you so much, Akashi Chris, for joining the Chad Smith Podcast. Appreciate your support very much. And Christina Townsend, good to see you. All right, guys. We've got an awesome guest backstage joining us from his YouTube channel, Living History's Mysteries. Please welcome, for the first time, Mr. Drew Ellsworth. How's it going, Drew? Oh, you got your coffee all ready to go?
Right.
Oh yeah, I got my coffee, my Chucky cup.
Oh, it's a Chucky cup. What? That is cool. Oh, yeah. There's a Chucky doll head right in the cup.
Yeah.
We should show him Carl's video.
Oh yeah, we definitely should.
Yeah. Of course. Friends till the end.
Friends till the end.
Oh, I got a new coffee cup.
Oh, mine's in the mail.
Oh, yeah.
That one time I was abducted by aliens coffee mug. Yeah, mine's in the mail.
Good morning, Bree. Good morning, Kari.
Good morning, aliens. Good morning, North Alabama Cryptid. Good morning, Michigander Man. Good to see you guys. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Drew, you're a Michigander too, right?
Yes, sir. I am down about midway between Niles and Three Rivers down here in southwest Michigan.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm over here in southeast Michigan, so not too far away from you, man. I'm over here about
No,
I don't know,
no.
about a good hours west of Detroit. Over here in farm country.
Yeah, I've done a couple of Civil War events right over there in your area. So I'm. Hey, Rob,
Civil.
good to see you, bro. I've done a couple of investigations, or done an investigation with Rob before out there at Notre Dame. Very, very good guy to work with.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Hey, Zombie Tech Reviews, good to see you, Roach.
What's up, Roach?
So you do Civil War reenactments?
I do everything from pre-colonization to cowboy era.
Whoa, that's awesome. So what's your favorite era
I've
to
done
cover?
cowboy era,
Cowboy era.
or Revolutionary War.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, so do you have all the equipment for that, or how does that work? Is that something that you show up for and then they have all the stuff, or do you show up with your own gear?
No, no, no. I have all my own equipment, my own clothes. I've done it for about 30 years. So
Oh, wow, that's
I
cool.
started off doing all mountain man stuff when I was in my 20s. And, well, when I got divorced the first time, I had to find something to fill my time with. So
That's
I
right.
started doing always being a historical fan, a history fan. I jumped in historical reenactments. And, when I originally started my channel, it was all history. And I got into the paranormal. I registered the name Parahistoric because we don't just go out and investigate haunted sites. We only investigate sites with a historical background.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually registered the name Parahistoric, and hence MPS, the Midwest Parahistoric Society.
Good deal, man. So you've been doing this. You've always lived in Michigan, I'm assuming?
No, 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 no. I was born in Tennessee, grew up in Indiana, moved to Michigan 8 years ago,
Oh,
7.5 years ago.
What brought you to Michigan from your previous location?
Well, I had a very good friend that was, well, I'll just say it like it is. He was on the verge of ending his journey on this planet, and he was too good of a guy. I mean, found out that his fiance was cheating on him, his grandfather died, and everything just fell in on him at once. So I picked up stakes and moved up here, moved in with him, and took care of him and kept him on the straight and narrow. And now he's remarried, got a baby girl, and doing fine.
Wow, great, man. That's a hell of a guy. I mean, I know you don't want to toot your own horn or anything, but that's a hell of a guy to do something like that, Drew. That's really cool of you.
I always try to put my friends first.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
help your
how
fellow
I
man. A
grew
lot
up.
of people don't do that. I don't know why it's like a natural reaction, but some people, when they see somebody in trouble like that, they kind of just ignore it because they just don't know how to deal with it. But that's cool that you stepped in and helped him out, and now he's successful again. So that's an awesome story.
I quit my job, moved up here, and everything. And like I said, took care of him, and actually met my wife while I was living there with him. She lived here in Michigan. It's like, wow, everything. I completely uprooted all my stakes and everything, and then found a whole new place to plant myself, and everything fell into place. And
yep, yeah, it's crazy how everything just falls into place like that, and it was meant to be. But
yep.
So you said you met your wife up here then?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool how it all fell into place like that. But it seems like maybe that was your reward or something for being a cool guy, that you got to meet your match.
Yeah, yeah. We just celebrated our 6th anniversary on Saturday.
Oh, awesome! Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Thank you.
So, how are you feeling about Michigan? Do you feel like you're gonna probably stay here, or what do you think?
Well,
Still feel?
I would really like to stay here. The heat don't bother me. The humidity at times gets to me.
Same.
I've got friends trying to pull me to the Southwest, but I think I might stay a Midwesterner.
Yeah,
I
I've got
enjoy the
friends trying to
snow
pull
too
me,
much.
pull me to the Southwest too.
Well,
Everyone's trying
it
to
gets to be 115, 120 degrees out there, but you can still get away with wearing a long sleeve shirt or a light coat because there's no humidity. I used to live in Texas. I lived in Texas for about 3 years, and I was shocked how many people ran around in blue jeans and jackets and stuff in northern Texas because there was no bloody heat. There's no bloody humidity out there. So
yeah, I need to experience that because I've only experienced Michigan heat and like North Carolina heat and Florida heat. So I don't understand like when people say, "Yeah, it's 115, but it's okay." I don't understand that because if it was 115 in Michigan, it'd be 95% humidity and so I don't understand the dry heat thing. I need to experience that and see what people are talking about. I've only had humid
it's
heat.
definitely cool. I even done reenactments in Texas. There were dudes running around down there in elk hide shirts and elk hide pants and everything else, and not breaking a sweat.
Well, that's the thing is like all the authentic clothing was thick and heavy and covered everything. It's not like you watch old cowboy western videos and people are walking around in shorts. Everybody had like a suit and tie and another shirt over that and then a suit jacket and then all kinds of crap. And it's like, where is this? Oh, it's in the western part of the country. It's like, wasn't it kind of warm there? But everybody just piled on layers and layers and layers. It's really strange.
Well, I mean, you had to look presentable above all else. You always had to look presentable, especially out on the frontier when you were first starting your business up or just moving into a town. You had to look professional. So yeah, of course, the women were wearing 5 and 6 layers of clothing. The men were wearing a shirt and a vest and a jacket and a hat to keep the sun out of their eyes. So yeah, you piled on the layers, that's for sure. A tie pinned up your neck.
I might look presentable from about a quarter mile away, but if I was in all those layers and that kind of heat, I'd look like a swamp. If you got up close to me, it would not look very presentable.
I am going to lose this hat.
I like your shirt you got there. What's that say? Paranormal? What's it say underneath it?
Paranormal investigator right here.
That's cool.
Of course, I've got the MPS patch on it over here, and
that's cool.
My American flag, and then the back I have a large. Oh, keep pointing it the wrong side. I've got a large patch.
On the back. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the uniforms that they use in Ghostbusters.
I've actually got one of those over here.
Oh yeah.
One of my guys in the MPS, Danny Holroyd, he's a member of Kalamazoo Ghostbusters and the Southern Michigan Paranormals. And he has the Ecto Jeep. We go out and do fundraisers and premieres and visit children's hospitals and stuff. But this patch here, my Screw You Ghost patch goes above the one on my back up here as soon as I get it stitched on.
I like that one. Screw You Ghost.
Yeah. Well, he originally had the middle finger sticking out, but we do work in public. I decided to dispose of the middle finger and just make it.
I like that. Where do you do your patch, or who does your patchwork? Do you do that?
Danny actually gave that patch, and my wife didn't want me to cut the finger off, and I'm like, nah, I go out in places like the Morris Performing Arts Center in South Bend, you know, museums.
Churches and
We're
stuff.
right now, we're trying to get into Fort St. Joseph in Niles, Michigan, which was a 17th century French trading port. So you're dealing with historical groups and historical organizations and museum boards and law enforcement and stuff like that. You know, we do our best to try to be some more state presentable.
Yeah, that's understandable. What's I saw Michigander Man here. He says, "I'll be meeting up with Drew at Ghostorama. I'm bringing a friend." Can you tell us a little bit more about what Ghostorama is going to be all about and where that's located?
Well, Ghostorama, and as I was telling you before we went live, Ghostorama is it's a large gathering of paranormal, horror, fans, investigators, anybody into the supernatural. It's set for August 20th this year. It was originally going to be at the Van Buren County Poorhouse Museum in Hartford, Michigan. But the storms 2 weeks ago that rolled through this area ripped about 65% of roof off the museum. And luckily, the insurance adjusters decided to save the museum and save all the 5 stories, 42 rooms of artifacts. And but because of the insurance, they're not allowed to do anything for at least a year. So we relocated Ghostorama to the Paw Paw Playhouse in Paw Paw, Michigan. It's a 100-year-old plus church. They're turning it into, like I said, a playhouse. They're completely remodeling it. So that's the site of Ghostorama this year. We'll also be doing an after-hours paranormal investigation in the church. Car show, spooky vendors. If you can imagine it, they're going to throw it together. And of course, you know, MPS is one of the hosts of Ghostorama. Frankenfest that just took place in Lansing this past Saturday. They're also one of the sponsors for it.
There was an event in Lansing this weekend called Frankenfest.
This past weekend, Saturday, it was at the Turner Dodge House in Lansing, Michigan.
Oh, man, I need to get on some kind of mailing list or something. All these events are happening around me in Michigan, and I keep missing them. I find out after they happen. There's some
after the show, I will give you Danny's contact information since he's the one that's organizing it all.
Yeah.
And that way, maybe you and him can, you know, get together, and he can get you the information and of different things that are coming up and stuff like that they're going to be doing.
Yeah, for sure. There's also a Bigfoot conference, I think, in I want to say that's in Lansing, I believe. Lansing. Yeah, that sounds right. Well, I think it is in Lansing.
I also co-host with Danny on Wednesday evenings on Unrestricted Paranormal. And last week we had a Bigfoot investigator on who invited us to come along on one of their investigations later this year. It's going to be way up north, and it'll probably be a 1 or 2 day investigation event, but definitely looking forward to that. I don't know about the Bigfoot thing in Lansing, though. I have to check into that.
It sounded pretty big to me. It sounded like a pretty big, no pun intended, a pretty big Bigfoot event. So I'll have to find some more information on that. But it sounds like it's like a annual Bigfoot conference. Michigan Bigfoot Conference. Let's see what we got. 2022 Michigan Bigfoot Conference. That's what it's called. It's at the Village Conference Center. Oh, it's even closer. It's in Chelsea, Michigan. It's like a half hour from me. It's Saturday, July 30th at 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Jeez. We're just going to go all day long. Ooh, $45 online or $50 at the door. It's a little steep, but you got some good guests there. Looks like there's going to be Russell Accord, I'm not gonna try that last name. I don't want to. But we do have Shaitan Noir is going to be there, who was our guest last week. So, yeah, that looks like it's going to be a fun time. But yeah, I need to get on some type of mailing list or something, like I said, because all these events happen, and I hear about them after they happen. So, but yeah, so
I knew about months beforehand. I still didn't make it, so
yeah,
get on that mailing list. But I don't drive, so I'm losing my eyesight in my right eye. And I don't drive anymore, so I have to rely on somebody. And sadly enough, I just couldn't see having guys from around the Kalamazoo area make a 2-hour round trip to come and pick me up, to make a 3-hour round trip to go to Lansing and come back, and then make another 2-hour trip to bring me home and go back. So I stayed at home and celebrated my anniversary instead. Probably saved my life.
Yeah, there you go. Well, sorry to hear about you're losing your eyesight in your right eye. That sucks, man.
It happens.
Drew,
it's
what type of work?
That...
What type of work did you do? I'm assuming. Are you retired? I'm assuming you're retired.
Yes. Well, yeah. If you're going to count 60 hours a week on YouTube, retired, I guess. I used to do custom brick, block, and stone.
Oh, okay.
So I done those little stone walkways, Chinese gardens, the block, fire pits in people's yards.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Man, so we should probably get you on when we talk about the pyramids and how in the hell they built those things. Because I think a lot of people, they just assume, like, yeah, they worked really hard and they just got it done. And it's like, no, you don't understand. They weighed like 2 tons. Each block weighs like 2 tons each, and they were brought from miles away, and they were cut perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
And like, there's just a list of things where it's like, nope, that's impossible. Nope, that's pretty impossible. How did they do that? People just don't understand the magnitude of the project.
Oh my God, it's unfathomable. They were doing things then that we could barely do now. I mean, you say 2 tons, some of those blocks weigh 20 tons. And you figure they're pushing them 20, 25 miles on perfectly cut round dowels. And then when they actually get them to the pyramid, then they got to go up the scaffolding, at an ununderstandable level or incline. So, I mean, how many thousands of people perished, pushing those blocks up there, and they'd get to a point. I mean, even pushing them up, could you imagine turning the angles, 45-degree angles or the 90-degree angles, to go around the pyramid and keep going up? So, I mean, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, if anybody missed it, Jimmy Church had a really good show last night about it, where he didn't have any guests. It was just him talking, basically giving his own presentation on the pyramids, and he brought up a lot of points that I just never even thought about, and the fact that they were built at the same time. Like, it wasn't like they built one pyramid and then they waited 100 years and then they built another pyramid. The two, at least the 2 middle ones in the Giza Plateau, those were built at the same time, and they're pretty much the same size. So if you say 20,000 people took 20 years to build one, you have to double all those numbers. So you're talking there were 40,000 able-bodied men that were working on it. Where did all those people live? Where did they, where did they eat? Where did all the food come from? There's just so many unanswered questions. It's like it just goes on and on and on about forever on the questions that can't really be answered.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting. There's got to be some ghosts in there too. There's got to be some. I wonder if there's ever any paranormal investigations at the pyramids. I've never seen anything like that go on there. But there's got to be some kind of energies going on.
Oh my God, there has to be.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Spooky?
I was just gonna say, as we go along in this lifetime that we're going through, if we make it out alive, which I'm starting to really have doubts about, our ancients learned how to use sound to their benefit. And they're able to perform what we would now consider feats of magic with the power of sound and sound waves. So, I know a lot of people give me a hard time about ancient aliens, but for me, they hit it right on the knob when they started talking about those theories, because there's so much evidence, as even scientists today are telling us, that there's so much power in sound. We just got to learn how to use it correctly.
Yeah, I totally believe that. Everything's vibrating. So
actually, you can use sound to heal yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. Check into it.
Yeah, don't people sit in like bathtubs and they have sound waves shot at them? And
Ooh, those are fun. Sound baths. When you do that during meditation, it's unbelievable.
Huh.
Oh, yeah. That's all bougie over here now in Southern Cali.
Oh, you guys are bougie over there with all your fancy meditation practices.
Hey, Drew, what part of Tennessee are you from, man?
My family comes from the Cumberland Plateau, right in between Nashville and Chattanooga. The town is called, we're actually 12 miles south of Pikeville and 9 miles northwest, we're 9 miles north of Pikeville and 12 miles south of Crossville.
Hey, Chad, was he breaking up or?
Again.
He's breaking up a little bit, but I understood what he said.
I might have been, because we have Xfinity Wi-Fi down here, and it took us 2 years to get a new Wi-Fi, and by the time we got it, it was already outdated. So
that's a shame, man.
Wi-Fi sucks, especially doing as many live streams as I do and stuff like that. I'm all the time breaking up, getting disconnected, having to restart.
Are you using your phone or on a laptop, Drew?
I'm actually using my phone. I use my old phone for everything. I use it for my editing, my filming, everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my only other suggestion was to plug it in, like plug the router into the computer, but if you're using a cell phone, that won't work. Yeah, Second Star Survival, Matt, he says that Chattanooga is his hometown.
Hey, used to go to Aldi's down in Chattanooga when I lived down there. So
down in Aldi's.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
never been to an Aldi's.
Only one around. Huh?
I said I've never been to an Aldi's.
Well, I don't know if they're any cheaper now than every place else is, but I mean, it used to be the best place to go and grab things, because it was 50% cheaper than every place else. But God only knows now what the price of survival in this country.
That's right. So, Drew, have you been on any, like, what kind of investigations have you been on that have kind of left you scratching your head? Like, you didn't know, like, maybe some things, you had more questions leaving than you did when you got there. Is there anything that you can think of that kind of really blew your mind?
One that really, really sticks out. Well, there's actually two that really stick out. Both of them were done both of them last year. Both were cemeteries. One that I and my friend Mark Siegel, who is our researcher, we went out and done a cemetery, several Civil War vets. I don't even really know how to explain it. We were talking to a Vietnam vet that was killed in a mortar attack, and he said it's coming through one of our devices. And it wasn't 5 minutes later, we heard the most horrendous scream come out of the cornfield just south of us. Now, being as open-minded as I am, I would almost attribute this to the scream of a banshee. Now, I mean, it could have been a coyote getting heard. It could have been anything. It was so horrendous, and it echoed off the woods. Mm-hmm. And I looked at Mark. I said, okay, it's there. It's time for us to get packed up and leave.
Yeah.
And Mark, I was breaking down the equipment, putting everything back in the trunk of the car, Mark off walking back away from the car to do a little bit of B-shot film for the end. And all of a sudden, I felt a sharp pain go down my back. And right there on film, most embarrassing moment of my life, I took my shirt off and had Mark take a picture of my back. And I had 3 scratches going right down my spine.
Whoa.
I mean, he went from right between the shoulder blades all the way to my waistband on my jeans. And we couldn't explain it. We don't know what it was. We don't know what was there that was evil.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that, you know, it used to be this whole area down here in Southwest Michigan used to be native land. And the natives were violently pushed back to where they are now. And I mean, it come down to the point where they actually called in the Indiana military to bring in the cannons in Niles and start just lobbing cannonballs at the natives, pushing them north away from Niles, because they were doing a lot less. I say Rob even Michigander man just said, I remember that. Yeah, I got the 3 scratches going down my back on that one, and then me and my buddy Mike, who does security for us sometimes. He's retired DSC employee. He's a retired county sheriff out of Peru, Indiana. We were doing a cemetery right here between Cassopolis and Three Rivers, Michigan. And we didn't even get investigation started. I started feeling very sick at my stomach. I started having real sharp pains on my left side. And I had 3 scratches going across my lower ribs, my left side.
Jeez.
And I've become a glutton for attacks here lately, because, you know, when you do your research on somebody and you know that there's things happening, and you go in there and you're not getting any kind of reaction or anything. I'm that dummy who sometimes says, come on, quit being a frickin' wimp and show yourself to us. Do something. Make yourself known.
Oh,
Be a man.
oh,
And
be a man.
yeah. Grow some balls. Be a man. Get attacked by something you can't freaking see.
And then
And I
they
always
start
tell
scratching
everybody, I'm not afraid of anything. I mean, I always tell people, I'm not afraid of anything. I've been married twice. I've died twice. What's left to fear in this world?
Whoa, you've died
And,
twice?
and
We're gonna have to dig into that.
Oh,
You
yeah,
can't just skip
Yeah,
over
well,
that, Drew.
I actually, and this is one reason why I think I am so in tune with stuff, is back in 2016, just 10 days after I got married, I had a diabetic attack. And we went out to celebrate the 4th of July, and I took one drink of a beer, got sick at my stomach, laid down on the bench or on the picnic table on the seat, and fell asleep while everybody else was out celebrating the 4th of July and everything. And got home that night, got sicker. By the morning of the 5th, the wife tried to get me to the car, and I couldn't lift myself. She couldn't lift me. And she wound up calling the ambulance. And I remember pulling into the Waljack Hospital, which is only about 9 miles away, and seeing the flag blowing on the pole. And that's all I remember for 10 days. They got me into the ER, told the doctor said he's dying. We have to get him to Kalamazoo. And they shot me to Kalamazoo, and we pulled into the ER there. I died. They rushed me inside, they resuscitated me, and then I died a second time, and they brought me back again, resuscitated, and my lungs started failing, and they induced a coma, and that was it for 10 days.
Good Lord, Drew.
And Drew, could I ask you, when you died twice, what did you experience, if you remember anything?
Total darkness. I heard voices. I heard music. I couldn't tell what the music was. It's so faint. But darkness, no light, no tunnel. I think the voices I heard were my grandmother and my grandfather.
Do you
What I
happen
could
to remember
remember
what
of my grandfather.
do you happen to remember what they told you, or what you heard?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I just heard whispers. Whispers. Right. And, the really funny thing, modern medicine refers to it as coma psychosis. When you hear things or see things while you're in a coma.
Yeah.
People in the supernatural field, oracles, witches, psychics, refer to it as something totally different. I mean, they actually refer to it as honest to goodness messages coming in. And I seen things when I was in my coma. I felt things. And when I woke up, I argued with doctors and the nurses. And they said it was just coma psychosis. Your brain is like a computer. When you shut down, your brain is no longer getting the input that it needs to keep functioning properly, so it makes things up. I'm like, no.
You're like, no, I heard people.
I don't care what you say. Yeah, I mean, you're hearing things. When my grandfather died in 1983, my grandmother died, like 12 years ago. I don't remember my grandfather's voice for nothing, but by God, when I was in that coma, when I died, I heard him.
Oh, wow.
And the funny thing, and a lot of people, here we got 21 people watching now. Some of them might experience something like that. Some of them might have known somebody or know someone who's experienced something like that. And when I start having these, when I grew up in a house that was haunted. The house originally started off in the 1860s as a one-room log cabin, which was our living room. And as time rolled on, they added to the house, and there was actually 3 deaths in that house between 1860 and the 1860s and 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up around the paranormal. I grew up around hauntings, but since the death and the diabetic attack and stuff like that, I felt a heightened sense of feeling things. And I've talked to widows, I've talked to psychics, I've talked to card readers, I've talked to card readers.
Yeah.
Several people have told me that once you die and come back, you either come back with a heightened sense or you don't come back like you left.
Right. Yep. Yeah, the chemistry
And a lot of people
changed.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people have told me that I came back with that heightened sense of being able to feel things and communicate with things. And hey, Jan, good to see you, sweetie.
Good morning, Jan. Thanks for joining us.
But yeah, it's just.
So you feel
and
like
that's
you're
one
more
of the things that got me into the paranormal.
Yeah, so Drew, you feel like you're more tuned in to the world around you now. It feels like you're more synced up with the people and the energies around you.
Yeah, we actually, and it's really funny, we just done an investigation a couple weeks ago of an old cult compound over in Benton Harbor, Michigan. It was called the City of David. And we were doing a box, a communication with the spirits. And I actually went outside to take a couple hits off my cigar. And Danny was in there doing the voice box with another guest investigator. And I walked back into what was at one time the greenhouse where they were at. And all of a sudden the voice box said, "There's Drew."
Really?
And I said, "Oh, do you remember me from the other side?" "Yes."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Not the first time it's happened." I went back, stood behind my camera, and kept filming. Yes.
That's the hotel in Benton Harbor, you said?
It was actually a whole compound. At one point in time, they had just a small home and compound, and then they bought adjoining land, and they opened a small amusement park and zoo and camping area to help to fund the cult. And it closed down in the mid 70s, and it still sits empty. The campground's still operational, but the whole area where the zoo was and the amusement park and stuff is they're slowly remodeling it and getting it back up. They host weddings there. They still do the little miniature trains and take people around the park on the train tracks with the old coal-driven trains and stuff.
I've never heard of this. The House of David in Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Yeah. Yep, the House of David was the original spot, and then they bought the City of David. But you know, I always do which was the City of David was the amusement park and the zoo and everything. Of course, you know, all these videos from all these investigations, including that one, are on my channel for people to go to and enjoy. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day we are actually going to get onto television, and people are for the first time in their lives going to see real paranormal investigations that are not scripted.
Yeah.
Where somebody don't pick a rock or something and go, "Oh," you know, like certain huge paranormal shows out there.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
And you know, I understand that. I understand. You know, some of these shows when they first start, first few seasons are really cool. You're seeing everything just as happening, and as they become big and they know shows are going to become popular, honest to goodness. And once again, Danny and I have had a guest on that confirms this as firsthand knowledge. About 65% show is.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What'd you say?
So I said, Danny and I have actually had a guest on Unrestricted Paranormal that can confirm this firsthand, that once those shows become big and know that they're going to continue to get big, they become about 65% scripted.
Oh, yeah. It's like they have to fill, they run out of stuff to talk about, and then they have to fill time up.
Well, yeah, and people want to be scared. People want to be, they want that jump. They want that startle. And, I mean, how many paranormal investigators have we got in the chat right now who have ever gone to a paranormal investigation and heard how terrible it is and how scary it is and how the contact's coming, and you sit there for 5 hours and don't do bloody damn thing?
Right. I think that's why these YouTube channels are taking off so big, because of the honesty and the authenticity of it. Because you know that if you're watching something like that, these people have a reputation to hold. And, you know, if you only have 1,500 subscribers or something like that, you want to be as honest as you can, because you don't want to ruin your reputation. And I mean, you might only have 1,000 subscribers, but you know, you want to hold on to them. So putting out false information would not be in your best interest. So I think a lot of these channels are taking off because of that.
And you know, I'm not afraid to say anything. We have had other paranormal channels and other paranormal investigators accuse us of falsifying stuff.
No.
And it's like, oh, you can't go out there and have that kind of, you know, luck finding stuff.
Jealous.
I'm
Those are the
sorry,
jealous ones.
but we do.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, those people.
You can't fake the latest video, Cheyenne Chief Two Moons story of that battle. I wanted to highlight that one, Drew. I dropped the link to that in the chat, and I just wanted to let you know, man, that was an awesome video, man. Awesome. I loved it.
I appreciate that. I really do. I'm actually working on one right now to be released tomorrow. That is the Black Hawk War. There were actually 3 Black Hawks in history. There was a Sock Fox chief, there was a Ute chief, there was an Apache, that were all called Black Hawk. This one here has to do with the Black Hawk War against the Mormons, the Utes. Very, very interesting. I love doing paranormal. I love doing stories on haunted history and history's mysteries. But real history will always be my favorite. I love telling the true stories of what happened. Because, I mean, face it, guys, you know, you can't cram 1,000 years of history into a history book that thick.
No.
Well, Drew, don't you? I mean, I've told this to Chad before. I mean, so much of the paranormal that we're experiencing and live with every day right now is from some of the most recent battles of our generations that have happened right here on these lands. And that's why I appreciate you telling the stories and reminding, you know, all of us that it wasn't too long ago that we had horrible, terrible battles on the lands that we live in right now, and where we enjoy so many freedoms. You know, if you wonder why there's spirit everywhere and why people see ghosts and why so much paranormal things are happening, it's because many, many, many people have died on these lands.
Very recently.
Well, and quite honestly, Spooky, one of my favorite things I love to tell people is, what is paranormal if it's not an echo of history?
Thank you. Hey, Drew, do you mind me asking? You seem to you have a fascination with Native ancestry, and I just wondered about your if you know your lineage, your Native ancestry. My own family history
is a vast story of separation and interbreeding and all kinds of weird things.
Mm-hmm.
My family actually originally came from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And during the 15th century, got on a boat and proved to the world they were not seafarers. They were coming to America and crashed into Scotland. Totally different directions.
Mm-hmm.
But the Irish part of my family joined the McRae clan in Scotland and became a subsect of the McRae clan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then in 1754, the English Ellsworths, the McRaes, and the Mahonies from Ireland all came to America.
Mm-hmm.
And my great-grandmother was a McRae who married a Mahoney, distant relatives. Their daughter married an Ellsworth.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, but in 1754, my family bought 100 acres of land at the northernmost fork of the Potomac River in the Virginia Territory, and that was our first infusion of native blood,
Right.
which was Mohawk. And my grandfather that passed in 83 was the last member of our family that could actually qualify for any kind of government aid, had enough native blood in his system that he would actually be counted as native. I learned most of my stuff from him when I was real little. He would take me, he loved to fish. We were a fishing family. And at like 9 years old, he took me out and taught me how to spearfish. And I never understood why we didn't just grab the die mini cast and put a hook and a worm on it and throw it out. And Grandma said, just be patient, listen.
Yeah.
And
so
I
awesome
learned so much in short years.
Great. Man, wow.
But yeah, I'm actually Irish, Scottish, English with a twinkle of native in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I have a very heartfelt heart that always wants to tell the native side of things.
Yeah.
Well,
you did
my
that
grandfather
story
always
justice.
said, I really appreciate that. My grandfather always told me that if you want to get the truth about history, go to the losers. Don't listen to what the winners say, because the winners are going to brag. The winners are going to tell tales, things like that. We're losers. And,
yeah, on your video, I have it stopped right now. This particular video we're talking about, and on the screen it says, "As I was growing up, my grandfather, the last, quote, native in our family who still knew some of the old ways, would tell me, never listen to the stories of the victors. They tell exaggerations and half-truths."
Exactly. I mean, I like that.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that write the books.
Yep,
Oh man,
exactly.
if you guys go to his channel and check out that story alone, you're gonna want to hear more of the stories he has to tell. That was really awesome.
Can you drop that link one more time, Spooky?
Yeah, I'll do it right now.
Yeah, that's awesome, Drew.
Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate that. Jan from JJ's Adventures, her husband Jay, they've both been followers of mine for a long time. They're also going to be coming up to Ghostorama. We're all going to meet up for the first time.
Oh, I gotta be there.
I don't know how many more of my followers are going to come in. Hopefully a few of them. I hate referring to my channel as a host and subscribers. My channel's a family. we share each other's successes, we share each other's failures, and it's a family. I mean, we have one girl right now that's having a surgery done on her ankle. She fell off a chair and broke her ankle last week, 2 weeks ago, and she's going in right now having surgery to get her ankle replaced. And we've had, oh my God, we've had so many high points and low points, which, for those of you that don't know, I actually had a channel I started in March of 2019, and it was called Living History Comes Alive. And it was all about the historical reenactments. It was all about history. And in February last year is when I actually took the leap and jumped into parahistorical. And I changed the name of the channel to Living History's Mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as we started to grow and get more popular, and I got up to almost 5,000 members of my family.
Oh, wow.
And I done a video on the soiled doves of the Old West, prostitutes, the brothel workers.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, three copyright strikes on public photos from another paranormal channel.
Really?
Because the three public photos that I put up were in the same order that was in their video that they had done like 8 years before and hadn't done a video in 5 years. They all of a sudden popped up out of nowhere and nailed me on three public photos. And the only reason the photos were in that order is because that's the order they were in on Google.
Mm-hmm. But they were public photos from Google. That's weird that...
Yep.
So they just striked your channel 3 times and took it down?
Yep. It got taken down like the 28th of November last year, and I turned right around and started up a new channel on December 1st.
Oh,
which
good.
is why, I've got less than 500 members of my family now, because a lot of those people were not content creators. They were simply supporters, and I had no way to contact them to let them know about a new channel.
Yeah.
So,
That's unfortunate, Drew. I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, and it happens, but that shows you how competitive the paranormal field could be. And the ironic thing, and I don't really blame YouTube. When the whole COVID thing started, they fired hundreds of people.
Mm-hmm.
So they no longer have a phone service. Everything is ran by the computer. So you can submit a complaint, but it's almost impossible to appeal it.
Oh, yeah. That's what everything's going to these days. Everything's getting so big that it's hard to have a customer service support for something so large like Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. All these large companies, it's like, how would you even have a customer service for 2 billion people, 2 billion users, or however many people are using it? It's kind of hard to keep something like that managed. But yeah, I mean, that's the right attitude to just keep on going. Start another channel.
I would love to get Drew on the panel with Matt from Second Star Survival. Talk some native history and about Drew. I'm not sure if you know our brother Matt from Second Star Survival channel. He is also from Chattanooga area. A native ancestry runs deep in his family.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to meet up with him. It's
some great stories too.
You're absolutely right. You can't write a story walking the Trail of Tears, dying of thirst, hunger, and smallpox. You're absolutely correct. You know, I would love my ultimate goal, and I'll be honest with you guys, the whole reason I originally started my channel is I wanted it to get so big. I wanted to have so much coming in each month that I could afford to jump on a bus. I could afford to jump on a plane once in a while and go to some of these locations, like the Trail of Tears, like Little Bighorn, like, my God, Antietam. I've been to Gettysburg, thank God. I've been to Gettysburg. We done 2 videos, one on the history of Gettysburg and one on the haunting of Gettysburg. And that was an experience. My God, that was an experience. Anybody who lives in the area around there, I would definitely advise you to go to Gettysburg. Be careful of the laws, though. They don't want anybody. They don't want anybody on the land between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. that you can stand that far from the line of that land and still do investigations. We actually we were at Sniper's Nest there at Gettysburg, and it got to be about 5 minutes till 10, so we drove out of the park real quick and went to the parking lot that was connected to Cemetery Hill, and literally stood right on the line between the business property and Cemetery Hill and filmed during a thunderstorm the top of Cemetery Hill, and got some of the most amazing fish I ever seen in my entire life. So you can't be on government land, but you can be that close to it.
You can still film government land.
That's right.
Bree says she's terrified to visit Gettysburg.
It's a very energetic. There's amazing energies there. I've been there when I was a kid, and I remember the feeling was just very overwhelming. You know, they tried to take us to all the touristy, tours and everything, but you didn't even need those tours. You just, once you're there, you just feel it. It's like the history comes to you.
Well, and in the last video for Gettysburg, I actually broke down, and I was filming when I did. I had to sit down on one of the huge rocks right there at Devil's Den, and which, I mean, you know, those rocks have been there for 100,000 years. Huge Paleolithic rocks everywhere, and I just got overcome with emotion and had to sit down on one of those rocks and talk to the camera a little bit, because, you know, you're sitting there and just all of a sudden the realization hits that 55,000 people died or went missing during those few days in July in 1863. And, you know, I'm standing there and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, at one point in time, this was wall-to-wall bodies, weapons, horses laying everywhere. And it got
overwhelms you.
And it did. It did. It ripped my guts out, thinking, you know, how many mothers and wives and sisters and brothers and daddies and grandmas and grandpas.
It's not just the warriors. It's the innocent lives too. You know, people think about just the warriors.
There's Diamond
it's also the
Triangle Field.
It's kids.
That right there, what Chad is showing right now, that is Triangle Field, and there's a big story that goes with Triangle Field. Supposedly, electronic devices, batteries will drain. You will get a very strong interference or filming equipment will stop. Luckily, mine didn't stop, but when I do part of the video, when I actually walk out, I walk about 50, 75 yards out of the triangle, and the whole time I'm talking, you'll hear the whole time I'm there.
Really?
So it's like, there is something to this story.
Yeah, electrical interference.
Some kind or another, some kind of EM interference that just can't be explained.
I just saw some footage that you took. I can't believe what I just... That can't be... Hold on. You gotta pull that back up.
What? Show me.
This spot right here, are you familiar with this spot?
Yes, that is a video that somebody took several years ago, and they have had people examine this video, and no one could find a source of fakery in that video. You actually see troops moving from right to left across that road.
Oh yeah,
from one field to the next.
Holy!
They have had
that.
They have
before.
Yeah, they have had people, professional film and videographers, look at that, and they can find nothing that shows any type of fakery in that.
Holy smokes, that's crystal clear. I mean,
and some of them are even clearer than others.
That is so bizarre. I mean, I've seen...
And I wish I would have been the one to get that film originally. Because, I mean, it's just so beautifully done. And anyone, I don't care who you are, anyone that says the supernatural is not real needs to go out there and experience something like that. And I guarantee they'll change their view on it.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I've never seen one that crystal clear before. That's something else.
Hey, Mark knows. There he is. Hey, bud. That right there is the dude. That is my guy right there. That is the guy that does all of our research. We couldn't do what we do without him. This man will get off work after working third shift all night long. 8, 10, 12 hours, sometimes long, and he will go and sit down and start researching and research for another 4, 5, 6 hours until he gets everything that he needs to get, information-wise, research-wise, to make our investigations the successes that they are. I am nothing. Think of me as the Queen of England. I am the figurehead to my group, and that's all. Mark is part of my parliament that actually runs the show.
I appreciate that very much, but I also know that you're doing quite a service, man, by telling these stories and keeping these the history alive, so that more younger people, because the youth of today are very interested in the true history. And as much as we appreciate everyone that's involved, your channel is very important. And I just dropped the link again in our chat. If people want to find out some real history of the country that you live in and have grown up in, check out channels like Drew's.
Yeah, that stuff is amazing. I mean, when people say, "Yeah, I got some stuff on film," you watch it and there might be like one little thing pop up and it's like, "Yep, did you see that?" But these are like full body apparitions. I mean, you can almost see what kind of clothes
video here. Yeah, this video that you're showing is a collection of paranormal occurrences that people have picked up. Not just us, but other things people have picked up in Gettysburg. This one here, way back there in the tree line, there's a family standing there at that gate, and they're filming out over the field. The park's not open yet, and
oh, we lost your audio, Drew.
I don't think he can hear us.
Can you hear us?
I hear you. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Oh, all right. Now your audio's back. That was strange.
Okay.
All right, you said,
Go figure.
so it was right before they opened.
Yeah, the park's not opened in this clip here. There's a family standing there at that gate, and what they're doing is they're filming across that field into that tree line back there, and you're actually seeing troops moving up the trail, and then seeing them even further back moving up another trail, going up that ridge. So that's another one of those really lucky clips somebody has got. You showed one a little bit ago from real close to a little round top, and you're hearing flute music and drums being played, echoing from down a little round top. What kind of equipment do I use? Zombie, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. I do all my filming on an old, outdated Stylus 3 telephone that I use for nothing but my camera thing now. That's what I'm using right here to do this. The mic and the gimbal and everything was actually given to me by Danny. Hey, Sean. Good to see you, bud. Was given to me by Danny from Southern Michigan Paranormals. It was sitting in his studio, not being used. So he gave it to me. The same with the studio headphone with the mic built in and stuff. Old. And that's why I rely on donations so much. When I do my live streams, I'm always dropping my PayPal link in the streams, because that money goes to update our equipment and get us new paranormal equipment and get me new studio equipment and things like that. So until we get monetized and actually finally blow up, that's our only source of, because, you know, I told you guys the diabetes story earlier. Diabetes is, of course, an immune deficiency disease, and you can get disability, but you really, especially here in the state of Michigan, you gotta dot your T's and cross your I's and get your triplicate in triplicate. And I actually went through a disability hearing last July, but because of COVID, I wasn't able to see a doctor for over a year, and they denied me. So for 6 years now, I have had no income. My wife has been supporting our family on her own. And so I rely strictly on the donations and stuff that come in from our videos and the live streams and stuff to help keep us going. That way she don't have to put any money out at all for me.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's understandable. Everybody please go support Drew on his channel, Living Histories Mysteries. And we dropped the chat or the link a few times, but it's also in the description below. Bree had a question. She wanted to know, does anyone know if it's an active haunting or is it more of like an imprint? Like these the ghosts that you're seeing here. A
little bit of both. A little bit of Gettysburg. We did get some very good Class A EVPs. We got a lot of really good reaction. There was a lot of just imprinted stuff. Just they died doing one certain thing, and they're cursed to repeat that one thing over and over again for all of eternity. And it's really sad. But once again, we ask ourselves, I look at the paranormal as an enigma. It is a mystery wrapped in a riddle. We don't know. Do they have concept of time? Do they know that they're constantly repeating the same thing over and over and over?
Right.
Or,
Yes.
are we just seeing a snippet of their existence and not seeing the rest of it?
Yeah, at a certain level.
Nobody knows.
I believe at a certain level of ascension, you do realize and are able to make choices about the next steps that you will go into with next lives. So my answer to that is yes. It just takes time, and time is not the way that we understand it in our lifetime as a species. But yes, there are many different levels.
Yeah, and see that's one thing. I released a video here a couple weeks ago about the competitiveness of paranormal research, and I sit here, like I said, I spend 60 hours a week. I get up 3 o'clock in the morning. I come in here. I start researching. I start watching videos. I start working on DOs, whatever the case may be. And I've seen a lot of stuff popping up in recent months where this person's down talking this person and this person's down talking this person. And I think a lot of it is jealousy. First, Lord, I think a lot of it is jealousy. I think instead of paranormal researchers competing against each other for who gets the limelight of proving the paranormal really exists,
Right.
I think we should be working together to share the limelight of actually proving paranormal exists. Why do you need your name up in lights? Why do you have to be that one that says, oh, right there, the irrefutable proof that there is life after death? Why not just be happy? Why not take part of my research and add it to a paranormal highways research and add it to Southern Michigan Paranormal's research and find that proof through all of that work together?
Yeah, man. We're stronger together.
It's the ego that
Amen.
wants to be right about everything. It's the ego that wants to prove everybody else wrong, and only I know the answers and only I have the proof. It's our ego. And when we start breaking down that ego, which is what the universe is calling for, by the way, is when we start sharing and doing it all together. And that's the next step.
Yep.
Just need more people, pushing that agenda.
It's definitely ego. It's one thing I've definitely learned.
That's all it
is. In this community is egos can definitely ruin a lot of cool experiences. Oh, hey, Sears.
It really
Drama, jealousy, and egos run amok in the paranormal field. That's for sure.
Well, not just in paranormal, in our whole existence right now. Oh,
yeah, just look on Twitter.
Our whole society is ego-driven, materialistic world that we live in. Once we start moving on past and we start moving into the age of Aquarius, as we already have, but once we get further and further into this, people are going to realize that it's not about what we can buy and what we can fill our empty voids in our lives with, material things. It's about how we treat each other, the compassion and the empathy that we show each other. That will take us to the next place. All this other stuff you're hearing about, nuts and bolts and everything, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you treat each other and how you treat your neighbor. That is when we will start really opening up and understanding more about the things that we want to know the answers to.
Yeah,
Paranormal Highway just made a statement up there, and I have to giggle at it. What's wrong with calling yourself a god? and I want to take Dan Aykroyd's line from the end of the newest Ghostbuster movie. In a way, we're
appreciate
all
that.
gods. In a way, we all create life. We all create a life. In a way, we are all in a sense of the word, a way we are all gods.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you just you've heard the saying, "Life is what you make it."
Yep.
I grew up in church. I'm an ordained minister. You know, life is what you make it. But when you grow up, God creates life.
Right.
But does not everything God creates share a piece of His spirit? Therefore, in a sense, we're all gods.
Yeah, I mean, we're all one. We're all sharing the same experience.
And when you match that phrase with the phrase that we are all connected and we are all one, that is when you will move past the ego and start treating your brother and sister exactly how you want to be treated. And that is when we will ascend, y'all. You hit it on the knob. I love it.
Spooky
I mean,
for a world
it ain't
beater.
nothing. I'm not saying
Yep.
nothing that nobody else has already said. It's just that now it seems like with all the, UFOs and interest people have in paranormal and lights in the sky and orbs, now it's like finally we're getting to a next place. I think it's just we got to do more. We have to encourage each other more because we're at a turning point. And I think everybody knows it.
Oh yeah, everyone says it.
I think that collectively people know that the way we've been living is not the way.
No.
Yep.
We got it all screwed up.
And you make a really good point. And one thing that I like to keep, telling people, telling myself. 50 years ago, people were seeing lights in the sky, and the government was telling us, no, it's this. No, it's that. 2 years ago, the Pentagon released all that video footage of UFOs. And they said, we don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're seeing and hearing things go bump in the night. We're hearing stories about the paranormal, and people are saying, nah, it's this, or nah, it's that. How long until somebody actually comes forward and says, yep, here's the proof?
Because we are not only connected as a people. You see, this is where I think people kind of lose the connection. We are connected with all the things that are living. And one of those things that's living is the planet that you reside on.
Yeah.
You're connected just as much with this Mother Earth as you're connected to your brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why people are feeling it, because the Earth is talking back to us.
Yeah.
There was a movie that came out several years ago, and I don't remember what the title of it is right now, but it was a Native American film. And one of the lines out of that movie always stuck very true with me. There's two ways to live. You live with Earth, or you live against Earth. And I always lived with Earth. I mean, I just said a few minutes ago, I'm an ordained minister. I have ran Sabbats and Esbats for Wiccan friends. That's not opposite sides of the coin, but I believe that we are all connected. The sooner that we, how's the old saying go? Judge not lest ye be judged. Don't sit and condemn another person because their belief is different or because you don't understand it. join with them. You might learn something.
That's right. That's right. Eric says, "Preach it, brother Spooky."
Spooky does
just
a
that
great
it's-
job, man. It's a damn shame he lives so far away. I could see myself spending an entire afternoon just BSing around with him.
Talking Tennessee, talking Gettysburg.
When I talk about life after life,
Oh, yeah.
and I talk about things like reincarnation and how we all go, one of the reasons why we have so many different disagreements and so much judgment and skepticism about each other and each other's experiences is because we're all coming together at different places of consciousness awareness and the level of consciousness. So that's why we all fight so much, and you wonder, why is UFO Twitter so messed up, and why is there so much hate and animosity and ugliness? It's because it's because people are coming to it from different places. Some people have been exposed and have seen the unseen, what other people can't see. And you can't hold it against your brother for having gone through that. It wasn't, my choice or Drew's choice or, Brother Matt's choice. This is because of where we are in our place in our development. Everybody develops at a different place in a different time. But when we all start coming together and supporting each other for what we're all going through, that's when we're able to move up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the chat room right now is talking about how just how negative the world is right now, and that's why I feel like it's really important for people like us to stick together, especially right now, and spread as much positivity as we can. I know Carl was saying that she was having a hard time just meditating and just having a hard time grounding, and I completely understand why that would be. I just feel like we need to probably need to spend a lot more time with each other. Like, I feel like we need to have more hangouts, maybe go live on YouTube more often, and just because like we're a force of positivity. You guys all know it. Everybody in the chat room knows that when we hang out together, it feels like we've been together for a long time. It feels like we've been family for a long time. And I feel like that's something that we are given. I feel like this is something that we really need to take advantage of and use it as like we have the tools that we need. We have the internet, we have computers, our phones, we have ways to spread instantaneous communication. I feel like that's our tool, that's our power that we are given from the universe, and we should definitely be using that for good. I mean, I know there's a lot of bad things going on right now. There's a lot of negativity, a lot of crazy stuff's going on, but I feel like the more positivity and positive energy that you pump into the system, the more that is killing the negativity. So if we just keep talking like, oh yeah, this shit's hitting the fan, the world's really bad right now, and we keep like bringing that negativity up to the surface. I mean, I know that it's happening and we should be aware of it, and
we should be selective about who we're supporting. I notice a lot of people seem to migrate towards the channels that have this idea that the way to go about this community and these subjects that we talk about is to find the next victim who we're going to just annihilate their character, and we're going to say, you know what, you shouldn't follow that person because they don't know what they're talking about, or they haven't been into it as long as I have. But that is such bullshit. You should, and we all as individuals have a responsibility. I say we need more leadership in this community. Leadership as far as picking and choosing and being responsible about who you're giving your money to on these super chats and who you're supporting and giving your subscriptions to. I mean, really? You think it's good for our where we're moving into our future as a humanity, you think it's good to be supporting people that are talking shit about each other? I'm sorry, that's just not the way.
And you bring up a really good point, but I'm gonna bring up a kind of a example slash
wake up, people.
Anti-example.
Wake up.
I had some people come into one of my live streams quite a few months ago, and they were trolls. I'll be honest about it. They were trolls. They weren't bad trolls, but they were a little mouthy, and some of my moderators were like, hey, we do this here. Hey, we do this here. We don't do this here. And I spoke up and I said, hey, I don't care what you guys talk about when you come in here, as long as you're not socially unacceptable, you're not disrespectful, and don't offend any of the women in my chat. Mm-hmm. Other than that, be yourself. Be true to yourself. If you're on here just to goof off and have fun, goof off and have fun. But do it respectably. And, I had one of those trolls pop into one of my chats not very long later. And he told me, he goes, dude, he said, you are effing awesome. We love you. You respect us. We respect you back. Anybody ever comes into one of your chats causing trouble, we'll be the first ones to come over.
You know how much.
I'm like, dude, I got trolls as moderators.
You know how much super chats? You know how much money it costs to treat others well? It costs zero. It costs nothing to treat someone else well.
Yep. It's the easiest thing in the world. It seems like such a crazy concept that, we're talking like it's a task that people need to cross off the list. Like, got to be good today. Got to be good to somebody today. But it's really not that hard. It's harder to be negative. Yeah. It's easier to just
think of that. Think of that energy that it takes to hate.
Yeah.
My people know that I have one rule that I live by every single day. If I can't make one person smile in a day, my day was a failure. My day was not worth getting out of bed. It was not worth turning on my coffee pot. It was not worth anything. If I can't make one person smile or make one person laugh every single day, then my day was a failure.
Yeah, I love that.
I like that. True. Yeah, especially if you're the type of person that can bring a smile to someone's face. You should definitely be the person to do that. If you have that ability and that tool in your toolbox.
Yep, I will play the fool. I will be the court jester. I will be the fool. I will take the pitfall. I will do whatever it takes to make somebody laugh and just forget about all the shit that's going on in their lives. I told my people the other day, I missed going to Frankenfest on Saturday. My wife wound up changing her schedule. Instead of working all day, she wound up getting off at noon, and we got to spend the biggest part of our anniversary together. And we planned on going out to dinner on our anniversary. We had gift cards to a local steakhouse that we have had since last Christmas. Not this past Christmas before that. They've been in the same location on our TV stand for over a year. We planned on going out for dinner, possibly seeing a movie, something. She came home from work. We done what running we had to do. Came home, got all showered and cleaned up, got ready to go out and get dinner, went for those cards. They were gone. We don't know what happened to them, where they went. We had three $50 gift cards. They were gone. My wife automatically distraught. Oh my God, our anniversary is ruined. I said, nope, by God, we have two restaurants in this town. We have a McDonald's and we have a Subway in a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
I told her, I said, well, we're flipping a coin. Looks like we're going to Subway. So we changed our clothes, put on our casual clothes, drove out to Subway. We got out. She goes, you know what would really be effed up? She says, if we go in here and the place is closed, I said, I am going to go postal and start shooting people. we go in there, and by damn, if they couldn't get anybody to work that day, and they closed 3 hours before.
What? Really?
And she lost it. We got out the car. She started bawling, and I said, no, it's what you make it. It's what you make it.
That's right.
So we went to the grocery store. We spent $50 we didn't have on hoagie buns, lunch meat, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, onions. We were going to make our own Subways at home. I even bought black olives to put on my subs.
Good.
And she broke down in the store again. She says, I cannot believe that this is how our 6th anniversary, 6 years of hell we have gone through with your health and the finances and stuff. And we're making fucking Subway sandwiches in our house. And we sat there, and they were the best tasting damn subs I ever had in my life.
That's right. Of course they were, man. Yeah. You guys went through hell and back to get those subs.
Those sandwiches were made with love.
They were made with love, and we're still eating the shit.
That's awesome.
It would have been cheaper to go to Subway and buy sandwiches.
I like their cold cut sandwich.
Drew, this is Eric from Paranormal Highway.
Now,
if you guys don't know each other already.
I'm the one who made the God comment.
Mm-hmm. Be right back, Chad.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with
that. I love that Ghostbusters. I forgot that Dan Aykroyd said that we're gods and stuff. That's a good reminder. I forgot that.
Well, you know, in the first movie, they kind of got screwed over with that statement. Are you a god? Yes.
Oh, yeah. The public.
Yeah, at least he was smart enough in the last movie to say, we're all gods.
Hell yeah.
Eric is our movie fanatic. He sees a lot of movies, so if anybody has any movie references, he usually gets them, and I don't get any of them.
See, and this is a little known secret. Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, is what really got me fired up in the paranormal. I have been a Ghostbuster fan since that movie came out. I knew I would never be able to catch a ghost, but by God, I could go out and actually investigate it. And when I got the chance to actually join the Ghostbuster community and become a member of, you know, the Kalamazoo Ghostbusters and the Great Lakes Ghostbuster Coalition, I jumped on it. You know, my jumpsuit is 3 sizes too big. But by God, I've got a name patch over there in black and red that says Ellsworth on it. I've got my Ghostbuster patches. Right now, I'm working on getting the Proton pack so I can start getting out, and instead of borrowing one whenever we do a show or something, going out and actually getting my own outfit together. And, you know,
that's cool.
You know, Drew, I see what you're talking about, because when you look at the characters, all 3 characters are different, but they're friends. And they want to research, but they almost felt like you could be part of them. So a lot of people felt like they were Dan Aykroyd, they were Bill Murray. They felt like regular blue collar people, and it made you think that you know, Bill Murray was a scientist, but you know, he wasn't like a scientist. You know, he felt like that's me drinking a little whiskey outside of a museum and wanted to research. And he said, "Fuck it, let's just do it. Let's go for it." I felt like you know what I mean?
Trying to pick up the college girl, you know, by lying to her about what's on the flashcards, and you know, while shocking the piss out of that poor kid. Well, you signed up for it.
Oh, come on, no offense, who all do something like that? You know, tortured the wrong person.
That's interesting that Ghostbusters is what really got you into it. That's cool. That's the first time I've heard that before.
Well, and, you know, like I said earlier, you know, I grew up around paranormal. I had my very first paranormal experience when I was 4 years old.
Oh.
We were in South Carolina visiting my uncle and aunt down there. Me, my sister, my mom, my dad. My sister was a newborn. And, you know, here I am, 4 years old. My mom wakes up in the middle of the night to my grandfather
Tennessee?
standing on her side of the bed. South Carolina.
Okay, thank you.
And my grandfather, mom said, "Daddy, what's wrong?" And he said, "Honey, I won't be home when you get back." And she said, "Why?" He said, "Shh, just go back to sleep. It'll all be okay." And I remember my mom waking up the next morning in tears, talking to my aunt at the table about it. And I heard part of the conversation, but, you know, I was small. So when I walked into the kitchen, they kind of changed the subject. But to this day, my mom remembers that when we got home, my grandfather had died from his 5th heart attack during the night. And that was my very first experience. Then when I was 12 years old, we moved into that house I was talking about earlier that started off as a 1-room cabin. And the gentleman that lived there died during the winter, starved to death. And the family found him in like April, sitting in his chair in the cabin. His dog was on his lap, also dead from starvation. And then in the 1940s, a little girl hung herself in the barn because she found out her fiance was cheating on her. And in the 1950s, another little girl hung herself from the staircase banister that was my sister's bedroom. So we grew up hearing voices, hearing movement, hearing things shifting around in the house. And sadly enough, the house is no longer there. It was torn down probably 10 years ago, but the field where that house sat at, the ground, the 1 acre square of ground, is darker than the rest of the field around it. When you drive through there, regardless of how many times they plow it, you can tell exactly where that house sat.
Ooh.
So, and then, you know, during that time is when I seen Ghostbusters, and it's like, okay, there's some scary shit out there.
Yeah.
But it can't all be scary because we've been experiencing it for years, and it's not hurt us yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really got me fired up into the paranormal.
Yeah.
And then when I had the chance to,
you know, the story came from Dan Aykroyd, and Dan Aykroyd's mom stuff was into the paranormal. So Dan Aykroyd grew up with the paranormal. Now his story got rewritten with the director Reitman, but it came from him, and it came from a place where he believed in the paranormal. You know, it came from real love because his parents were true paranormal investigators.
You know, I would love to get Dan Aykroyd on. Every once in a while, guys, I'll do a live stream on a Friday night. I call Ghost to Ghost PM. And I had actors from movies before. Peter Sherayko that was in Tombstone has been on there before and stuff. And I would love to get Dan Aykroyd on there just talking about the paranormal. I don't even care about his acting career.
He would tell you the truth. You want to act. Yep. He would tell you the truth because he's just an honest guy. He'll tell you the whole stories without doing that actor kind of a political kind of thing. He'll tell you exactly how it is.
Yeah, I think that'd be so much fun to get Dan on a show that something like ours that, you know, hasn't been published all over the planet and not everyone knows all about it, but just a small show on YouTube. I think that'd be awesome to get him in a situation like that. I
want Dan Aykroyd, and I also want Sammy Hagar to talk about his alien abduction story.
Yes.
Because those two guys will tell you straight up. They don't need to lie. They don't care if people don't believe them or not. They just tell you. I would love to have one of those guys on my channel.
Oh, yeah.
I almost had Ricky Rocket, because apparently he had a paranormal experiences, but it didn't work out. I almost had him.
Come on, Ricky Rocket.
Wow.
I know, right? That little bastard. I paid good money for his concert ticket in September. They could at least come on my show.
The least you guys.
But yeah, you know,
the least.
Yeah, I don't only try to get big people on there Chad knows Chad and Cassie both know I've had Molly on there before doing card readings and stuff, talking about the card, which fascinates the hell out of me. I've always wanted to learn how to read runes and read cards. But I'm going to leave it to professionals because I stay way too damn busy doing what I do. So,
Drew's show was Molly's first.
Of course,
time
I wanted to get really
being interviewed on a show. Yeah, she was so nervous. She's like, "What's he going to ask me? What do I need to have prepared? What kind of notes do I need to have? What am I going to bring? What do I need to bring with me?" I'm like, I think Drew's pretty laid back. He's just going to ask you about card readings and stuff.
You know what, Drew?
Yep.
It's proven on YouTube that people rather see real people on YouTube channels than stars. Stars are nice because, you know, you grew up on them, but people rather see like a Spooky instead of a Dan Aykroyd or, you know, anybody from the chat. People like real people. Not saying Dan Aykroyd's not real, but in reality, people like blue collar people that's down here, not up here. Mm-hmm. Even though they'd be fun to have once in a while. If they would come on, nobody would come on my show.
Well, it seems to be the way nowadays with celebrities as they start these series like Demi Lovato and
and they want to save it for those and stuff. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that's really sad too, because once again, you know, I feel like people in the paranormal field should communicate with each other. They should work together and stuff. I've actually got on Instagram and I've contacted Zach Bagans. I've contacted Aaron Goodwin. And I know they read my comments because it shows me they read my comments. And it's like, hey, you know, a lot of people don't know this. Zach Bagans got his start in the state of Michigan.
Oh, I didn't know that
with
either.
that documentary that he made on accident, yeah.
Well, he went to college here to learn his videography.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, he actually went to college here to learn videography, and I contacted him straight up. I said, hey, I don't want to talk about ghost adventures. I want to talk about your personal experiences. I want to talk about you as a person. If you guys are ever back in the Michigan area, contact me. I'll take you guys to some places that'll make your curlies go straight. Plain and simple. And, you know, I've never heard back from any of them. And it's like, you know, even people that are big, you know, we have friends, Mark and I have a friend that lives out in New Jersey. Her channel's called Paranormal Brew. She's had Jason Hughes from Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
She's had some other large authors and stuff, which I met Jason at a function in Fort Wayne, Indiana last year.
Did you?
That was a good one. And awesome dude to sit and talk to, but man, he is so freaking busy that, which I mean, you know, when it comes to getting people scheduled for these live streams and stuff like that, you have to figure out, okay, what's their production schedule? Where are they? What are they doing? How busy are they? And a lot of them just don't have the time to do it. And it's really sad. I mean, you know, I've even gone as far as emailing Zach's museum out in Las Vegas. And my mother-in-law's been there. She was there for 3 hours 2 years ago. Never seen Zach or anybody that they show in the museum that's there. It's kind of like going, you know, Pawn Stars or something like that, when you actually take some Jason Balls. Thank you, Dan. You go in there, and nobody that you see on TV is there.
Right.
So
I'm telling you, Drew,
know,
I think that's why
the same things out of American Pickers and things like that.
I think that's why channels like yours are so popular and why people relate with you, because you have the time to sit and talk with people when they have questions and experiences, and maybe if somebody's afraid of something that's going on in their house and they need to contact somebody immediately, or, you know, within the next couple of days, they want some answers, and somebody like Zach Baggins just doesn't have the time.
Yesterday. I just did it day before yesterday. My sister-in-law contacted me. Her 4 or 5 year old, 5 years old, I think 5 years old. He had a question about ghosts, and I was sitting out in the car, and the wife was in a Family Dollar, and she come back out. She said, "Hey, we'll call her Jenny." She said, "Jenny just called me. She said Maddie had a question about ghosts, and she's going to be calling you in a second." And I'm sitting there, and she calls, and she's laying on the couch next to him, and he's asking me questions, and she's asking me questions, and because he's really interested in it. I couldn't get Jenny. I couldn't get Jenny to an investigation if I put a leash on her and drug her in. But here's this little 5-year-old that's like, "I want to go. I want to go. I want to go." You know, same with my grandsons. You know, they're down in central Indiana. They want to come up here and spend part of the summer with me to go on investigations with me.
That's awesome.
To get their mom to one, if we tied a rope around her waist and put it on the back of a Dodge Dakota, you couldn't drag her into a bloody investigation. But by God, here's the 12-year-old and 15-year-old. It's like, "I want to go. I want to go. I want to go."
I love it.
Drew, is that something that you've noticed throughout all of society, that the younger generation is a lot more accepting and open-minded than the older generation is?
I think the older generation, in a sense, have kind of got the shit scared out of them a few times. Mm-hmm. And they're afraid that maybe the same thing is going to happen. And the younger generation, that they're growing up with ghost hunters. They're growing up with Ghost Brothers. They're growing up with Ghost Adventures.
And they can watch all on the phone. Just like that. Boom. Anytime they want, they got it. Not like us that we had. Oh, Drew, I'm checking out your channel. Dude, you have a Game of Thrones trivia. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Every once in a while, when I'm doing my live streams, I do my live streams now that I co-host on Unrestricted Paranormal on Wednesday nights. I only chance to do live streams on Wednesday evenings now. But I do live streams morning and evening on Monday and Friday, and then once a month on Wednesday. And when I do my live streams, I don't always know what the hell I'm going to do. I'll be honest. I just schedule a live stream. 9 times out of 10, it is a 2-hour-long BS session where we all just talk about what's going on. Now, morning times, I got Rusty Allen out in New Jersey who does Today in History. He goes through and finds everything that happened on that date. And sometimes there's some really interesting. Sometimes it's just, you know, the normal everyday, whatever. But I will come up with trivia, whether it is movie trivia or horror movie trivia or Game of Thrones trivia or whatever the case may be. I try to keep things interesting, and it just sometimes it backfires, and sometimes even History Night turns into a 2-hour-long BS session.
No, it looks like you got a lot of good stuff. People don't know the
answers to the questions, so they'll start. Yep, we done the Winchester. Now that's a different Winchester Mansion. That's not the one in California. Yep, that's the Winchester Mansion in Ellsworth, Indiana. It was built in 1905 by. He was president of the First National Bank in Elkhart, Indiana, and he built the house for his daughter, and she got married to William Knickerbocker, who died in that house, and she was so overcome with the afterlife. She actually got a copy of his coffin and put it in the front foyer.
Wow.
And it sat there until she died in like 1947. And they placed her in that coffin and moved her right out the big double doors at the front.
Gonna have to watch it.
But very, very active place. Very calm place.
Here's what looks interesting. The Van Buren Poorhouse Museum. I'm going to check that out. I've never heard of that museum.
That museum is located in Hartford, Michigan on Red Arrow Highway. That's where we were originally going to do the Ghost-orama. the Ghostorama event on August 20th. But I was saying earlier that here a couple weeks ago, we had some real bad storms move through, and it wound up ripping off about 65% of the roof. So we moved the venue of Ghostorama to Paw Paw, Michigan, to a 100-plus-year-old church that is going to become the Paw Paw Playhouse.
Wow.
And where I give Cassie the information, and we're trying to get Chad scheduled to show up at that event. And
yeah, what the fuck, Chad? What's taking you so long?
yeah,
No,
what the fuck, Chad?
I haven't turned it down now. Come on now.
And Drew, I love that picture of the Ghostbuster doing the finger flip. Did you design that, or do you guys find that picture?
No, Danny from Southern Michigan Paranormals actually give me that patch when I officially became part of his Ghostbuster group. And he heads up the Kalamazoo Ghostbusters and the Great Lakes Ghostbuster Coalition. This is actually the patch now. I had to check it since we do go out in public. I had to cut the finger off of it.
Oh no!
But
I
it's
like
going to
the
go on the
finger.
back of this jacket, right up between my shoulder blades.
Maybe you'll have to send Eric a patch that has the finger on it.
I love it, man. Love it. I'm gonna be checking all your stuff out because you got a lot of good history stuff on here. You got Bigfoots, like Bigfoot evidence. You got a lot of alien stuff. You got a variety of a good mix. Oh my God, you got a picture of two dogs on each other, and they're balloon dogs. Two balloon dogs on top of each other. The balloon's on top of the red balloon. Dude, you're up my alley.
Yeah, Eric's gonna have to book you on his show.
I try to
man.
have fun, man. Like I said,
love
if I
it.
can't make one person smile or laugh every single day, my day was a failure. Even if it's just a thumbnail. Somebody's going to look at that and go,
Hold on.
Yep.
I got to show people what it
to me,
looks
it
like.
was a success.
I love it. Look at
That's
that.
awesome.
I'm sorry. I got a twisted mind.
Eric's
But-
got the keys to the
No, I love the personality that you have on your show, on your channel. You got Games of Thrones, you got Bigfoots, you got aliens, dogs, balloon dogs humping each other. I mean, what else can you ask for?
What else can you ask for, man? Yeah, but
I
guys,
don't know.
I dropped his link one more time in the chat. Please go subscribe to Drew's channel,
Yeah,
Living
I
Histories Mysteries.
subscribed, and people got to check it out. He's got a lot of variety of stuff, and I love when people have great different things. It just brings a little flavor to it. So you're not like the typical channel that just sits there. You have everything. That's what I like about it.
That's right.
I
Sonny
just-
Conway, thanks for
I
joining us,
like
man.
to make people happy. Hey,
Hey guys,
Sonny, glad you could come in and join us.
I
bud.
jumped in to show you all I wasn't dying. I'm just hurt.
I'm
I'll
glad.
be fine. Drew, I'm sorry I didn't make it earlier, man. But I've been listening for the last 20 minutes. I've been up. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you made it.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. You can't mess around these days when you get sick. You just don't know. You just don't know. And it's better to take care of yourself and maybe pull away from a thing or two to think about yourself and yourself build up. And you know, when they told me you was sick, you know, it's like, dude, I hope he's in bed sleeping his ass off right now and getting better. So, you know, next week he's back and ready
That's
to get
right.
fired.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you took the time to just don't sneeze on me. I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
That's
You
right,
need a
guys.
hot toddy. You need a hot
It's
toddy.
not COVID, guys. I tested negative. I think
Oh,
I
that's
just got
good.
the flu or something.
Well, that's
My
always
whole
good.
body hurts.
Something bad's taking you down. Well, yeah, everybody, please stay healthy, feel better, and make sure you subscribe to Drew's channel. Eric, do you have a show today?
Yes, actually in an hour.
Oh, in an hour? Sweet.
And in an hour. And let me just make one announcement, guys. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, you guys want to come to my channel because let me share real quick. I just fast little promo. I got the paranormal cartoon tomorrow night, and this is the link. So if you want to put the bell up, Connor is a voice in it. Anthony from Unidentified S4 is the Bigfoot in this.
Really?
And Dr. Wu is the purple alien in this. So,
oh boy.
So,
yeah,
it's only 3 minutes.
Anthony is the perfect Bigfoot, dude.
Yes. I wanted a New York kind of a voice, so he's the Bigfoot. It's only 3 minutes. It's a fun little 2D animation. Hopefully, everybody will come tomorrow night and check it out. Then after it, I'm gonna have an after show. Like I'm gonna have 2 links, one for that, then a link that with Anthony and everybody who did voices on it.
Sweet. Oh, I can't wait. That's gonna be awesome.
Dude, I can just see Anthony's voice coming out of that Bigfoot that's right there behind you, Eric. Yo, ma!
Don't worry about it, all right? I'm a Bigfoot. All right?
Ma, they're hunting us out here,
See,
man.
Drew, it's all about having fun. Like you said, Drew, it's about having fun.
I can't imagine Bigfoot with a New York accent. I don't think he would be near the hide-and-seek champion that he is if
This
he
is my
lived in a big
channel.
city like that.
It's my chat. I don't care what the normal is. It's not normal.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody.
The
for
only
being
thing
with
I
us
could
today.
think of that would beat New York would be a Bostonian accent.
Oh, that would be funny. Yeah, either one of those would be funny. Coming out
What
of
the hell are you
Bigfoot.
looking at? Stop looking at me like that.
Who the hell parked the car here?
What the fuck?
And if it does go well, I'm gonna do. I want to do an episode 2 and an episode 3. In one of the episodes, I do have a little plan for the Chad Pod team.
What?
I don't know if I'm gonna run them over in a car or not, but I got plans in a
Oh
sequel.
God! Don't run us over in a car.
I like the Boston accent thing, Drew. That would be funny.
That
you
would
wouldn't hear no more of the wood knocks. You would just hear Bigfoot out there going, "No, you are. No, you are.
No, you are.
No, you are."
Yeah, we need to get some.
Going to a
accents in there.
movie. That okay with you?
Do I gotta ask your permission? Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Drew. We're gonna have you on again. You're awesome.
Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it, man.
Man, I really appreciate it.
Thanks
It's great sitting down talking to y'all, Chad. The only chance I've had to talk to you is on you and Molly's show. Spooky. The only chance I've talked with you and Sonny is here in the chat on this. It was really to actually sit down with you guys and hang out, talk about stuff. Eric,
Yeah, man.
always a pleasure, man. Love your show. You guys are great. I appreciate you having me on.
No problem at all. Thanks a lot, Drew. Everybody,
My
thanks
pleasure.
for hanging out with us in the chat. We will see you on Thursday for another episode of the morning show at 10 a.m. Eastern. Until then, take care of each other, and we'll see you on Thursday. Love you guys.
Thanks.
It sound right, boys.